Well, that's interesting.
Welcome back.
Yeah, it was
Before...
only that one time. Oh, sorry.
I don't. Okay. All right. I feel like
still don't understand. I think you might need to explain it to me in, simpler terms.
Later.
I had everybody roll a D100. Finara, what'd you get?
60.
60. Hang on one second. I gotta do a couple things. All right. Can I get Art? What was yours?
25.
25.
We're going by golf, right? We're trying to roll low.
Sure.
I hope not.
Oh, God.
And then Orchid, what'd you get?
90.
90. 90.
90.
90.
90.
Wow.
All right, and for just
So
for,
I don't know. One of us is in trouble, possibly.
just for extra funsies, can you roll one more D100 for me?
Oh, God.
All of us?
No,
All of us again?
just Orchid.
Oh,
Just Orchid.
okay. That's not good.
All right. This time I got 41.
Interesting.
41.
Such things are always so ominous. What's he doing? What's he planning? What's he planning? He's thinking real hard.
Yep, I like that better.
What? I'm not gonna die.
Y'all are over.
Heart rate intensifies.
Y'all are gonna 100% be in for it, I think. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
It was at that moment they knew.
Are
They
you?
fucked up.
3 hours later. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, cool. Thank you guys for your generous donations. Where we last left off, Art, Finara, and Orchid found themselves confronted by a trio of insectoid-like creatures that they fended off fairly well. That there wasn't they didn't really have as much trouble as a certain somebody thought they would. However, over the next couple of days, they journeyed following the mountainside, where they encountered a wyvern that chased them down a good bit, for a good bit of their journey. They again managed to threaten it enough for it to fly away, choosing its life over some food. Even though the food...
No goblin toes for you.
Yeah, no goblin toes. Even though, goblin toes were on the menu, so, it definitely could have been a thing. But as they continued to travel, they, on the horizon, saw Gwenya Malas, the forest in which Orchid is trying to get to, in order to find the city of Minthfable. Our journey picks up. Yeah, it was wow, that was actually a pretty quick recap. Damn. Not a lot happened, but a lot happened. Our journey continues that following day after you had rested in that grove of trees where you lost the wyvern. As you've begun your journey toward the forest. It's going to take you, I think I said, about a day and a half to get there. So as we go into that day, one of you can roll a d20 for me.
Is it just a straight D20?
It's just a straight d20.
There you go. I believe, Orchid.
It was a 5 from me.
It was a 5.
Yeah.
Cool. Can you also roll me a... Let me double check where you are. Okay. Go ahead and roll me a d10.
8.
8. Perfect. Your journey today, relatively clear. The sky above you is nice and bright and blue. Not a whole lot of cloud coverage. Temperature mid to high 50s throughout the day, with a light breeze coming down from the mountains. And it's as you guys are traveling, following the foothills in this kind of final stretch prior to getting to the forest itself, as the evening sun is starting to fade, you hear calls coming from the hillside. What languages does everybody know?
Dwarvish, Elvish, Goblin, and Halfling.
Common, Dwarvish, Gnomish, and Goblin.
Common, Elvish, and then one that you know about.
Cool.
Oh wait, technically a little bit of Sylvan and a little bit of Infernal.
That's true. Very broken Sylvan.
There you go.
And I can lip read.
So you would be able to, Fenara, with your super high passive perception, you'd be able to pick out both of the languages being spoken. The first is Dwarvish. And the second, Art, you'd be able to pick up is Goblin. Fenara, you'd also be able. You'd be able.
I can understand Dwarvish also.
Okay, all right then. I'd say with your passive, you can pick up the Goblin more so than the Dwarvish, because the Dwarvish is a little bit lower in tone. But the Fenara, you can hear both. Art, you for sure can hear the Goblin. And our good friend Orchid, you're at a loss right now. It's just there's screaming coming from the mountainside. You're not quite sure where, but you can hear it come off to you. Or actually, Orchid, go ahead and give me a survival check. You're pretty all right at that.
Yeah, all right, pretty all right. That's a 16.
You'd be able to identify that it's maybe about quarter mile into the foothills.
So they're doing some real shouting then.
It's loud, and it's almost as if it's echoing off of the side of the mountain, like the side of the hill.
Can we make out what is being said, or like little broken pieces or anything?
Make an insight check, because a lot of it is mixed. It'll take a hot minute to really decipher what they're saying.
Oh, I mean, that was a 21.
Okay. And Art, were you making one as well?
I was. That was a 10.
Cool. It seems to be some sort of argument. The Dwarvish that keeps getting repeated is that it's mine. Or more so, it's ours. We've done the work. We've mined it from the earth. The goblinoid that you're getting is very much so of, well, this is our land, our stuff. Okay. And it sounds, you're able, with that insight check, you're able to identify at least 3 different Dwarvish voices and about 5 different goblin voices. Or goblinoid voices. There's a couple that are deeper or gruffer, but like the varying in pitch and tone. But
well, sounds like they're arguing about something.
From what I'm gathering, it's one of those finders keepers, losers weepers type situation, and it seems like a pretty decent sized group, like maybe 5 or 6 of the goblins, and maybe about, I don't know, 3 or 4 of the dwarves.
Well,
I gotta get a little bit closer for us to find out. But do we want to like go into the fire in that way?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I kind of want to know what they found, but I also at the same time, I don't know. It's not really having to do with what we're doing right now. But I'm also.
But maybe they're arguing because they don't understand one another. we could be the translators, because you understand. Well, obviously you're a goblin, but and I understand goblin, but
Well,
dwarvish as well.
I don't know. I mean, most goblins, once they've made up their mind about something and they claim it as theirs, they don't tend to be very flexible on that. At least not in my experience.
Oh, you might have a point. I don't know, Orchid. What do you think we should do?
Well, gosh, I mean, we're just sort of strangers, so we could either be seen as just total interlopers and might escalate the situation, or we could be a neutral third party. I mean, we're both religious figures, you and I, and then Art's a goblin. Art could be seen as being tilting our judgment, though, depending. I don't know.
Well, if he's not a part of this particular goblin party, then maybe again an unbiased opinion.
Well, I mean, if we don't want me to cause trouble, we can always, I can change this so that we're not, I'm not so obvious.
Oh, change your appearance?
Mm-hmm.
But why? I like your appearance.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, if me being like this causes troubles, then maybe it's not a good idea.
Oh.
Of course, then again, part of me just doesn't want to be waylaid. This is not necessarily our problem.
Do you want to sneak around? Maybe if they don't hear us, then we don't have to get involved, since we are on a greater mission. Your mission, right?
Oh, let's just stop by.
Oh, okay. Well then, and Art's gonna dig into one of his pockets and pull out a small little vial with a viscous pink-looking liquid inside of it, and he's gonna go ahead and take a little chug of it. And after drinking it, Art's gonna start. And I'm gonna go ahead and alter myself to look like Perrin.
Interesting.
That's very convincing. I'm gonna poke his hair. What happens? Does it feel like I'm going through nothing? Or does it?
Well, I've actually forgotten what it's like to have this much hair. This is a kind of a nice change.
Oh, this is so disorienting. The fact that you don't sound like my brother, but you look like a spitting image. Like this is incredible. But also too,
Oh, well, let's see. I'm here to just no, I can't do his voice very well, can I?
It's okay. They don't know they're you aren't who you say you are or look like you are. Yeah, they don't know all that.
Let's see. I'm the greatest musician in the world.
Oh, you're getting there.
All right.
Wait, hold on. Wait. And then she's gonna put out her hands and touch both of them to enact that emboldening blonde. So you have that refreshing feeling, that mist, that breeze.
Ooh.
Precautions. We don't know what we're walking into.
Okay. Well, here goes nothing.
Yeah.
And I promise I won't put because it made you uncomfortable, so I won't do the other thing that I did when we were fighting, Sorry, Orchid. Next time I'll ask permission.
You mean up with yeah, no, I mean, it wasn't that it was bad exactly. It's just, it's not important. Anyway, let's go. And Orchid just starts hustling.
Are you guys just trudging headlong, or are you guys trying to get a look at it before you interfere?
Orchid is definitely trudging.
No, we're just trudging. I think we're just.
All right.
Orchid is not. She is just.
You follow the voices venturing into the hillside, just brazen and unaware of your surroundings. No, I'm kidding. You have Fenara.
I mean, one of us at least.
Yeah, you have Fenara with you. You're good. But no, you follow the voices until you reach where one of the hills crests, and as you look down, you see a small valley in between two of these hills, and on the base of the far hill, or the opposite hill, you can see a small cutout in the hillside that looks like a very, very miniature quarry. You can see that the hillside has been dug into, almost to the size of a small cave. On the outskirts, it looks like the rock has been cut away enough to reveal what's on the inside. At least any raw materials that would be on the very, very edge or the fringes of the hill. And at the mouth of this small cave, you can see, indeed, 3 dwarfs, with a 4th seated behind the 3, just kind of sitting there by a fire, boiling what looks like some sort of pot, arguing with about 5 goblins, definitively, or goblinoids, as you see 3 that look like art. You see 1 that is slightly taller than you, Fanara, but shorter than Orchid, with these tufts of red fur everywhere. And then 1 that stands well over, you'd imagine, well over Orchid. Probably at least 6.5 feet, close to 7 feet tall, almost giant size, like a small giant, with these really, really long and like gangly arms. Is that the right word I'm thinking of? Yeah. Like spindly looking as they like reach down almost past like to their kneecaps. Big tufts of hair kind of around where their ears are. They do have the ears and the ears almost look elvish like, until Fanara and you recall your experience with the goblins in the Feywild. So you would know there is some connection-ish there. But at this point, as you crest, you hear the smaller of the 2 larger goblinoids pointing at one of the dwarves saying, "It belongs to us. If for some reason you disagree, then you can bring it up with one of our war chiefs." I don't think that's such a great idea. Listen, we mined this area, we did all the brunt of the work, and we should be the ones who get to take it home with us. One of the guys, "Yeah, but you ran us off to begin with as we were scouting out this area." Well, did you scout out this area for mining purposes? And there's dead silence between the 3 smaller goblins when they all look at each other and be like,
Yeah.
Huh.
Are they understanding each other's language?
It
Or does
looks
it seem
like
like
it
they're
looks
just, like, yelling
it
at
looks
each other
almost
and
like
it's
it looks almost like a kind of like a Spanglish, right? Where the dwarves know some
A mixture.
goblinoid and the
Okay.
goblins know very, very minimal dwarvish. But it's a lot of it is being they're just they're keep reiterating the facts, essentially.
Meanwhile, Orchid's just like,
And they're refusing to talk in the opposite's language.
Pardon me. And then she repeats it, but she says it in Goblin, but then she turns to the dwarves. "Excuse me, pardon me." Oh, this is gonna be difficult, y'all. And then she kind of slowly, she puts up her hands and she slowly walks, and then she picks up the hem of her skirt to try to get closer and seem like she's not gonna cause any harm. It seems like there is a misunderstanding amongst people who could be friends. Do either of your groups speak common? So we can find a common ground. Yes.
Roll a persuasion check. As you just enter completely unannounced from the hill over the hillside.
Oh, hey, not too bad. All right. That is, you said persuasion?
Yes.
That's a 22.
Oh my god. Alright, hang on. Let's see what their initial vibe checks of you are.
They can't resist my cuteness.
That's a
Something.
very relatable statement.
Something like that. As you kind of just like stroll up very casually, the dwarves all kind of like back up, and they each kind of give you a small bow.
Curtsy.
I'm really sorry. We should have. We do know the common tongue. And the mid-sized reddish tuft furred goblinoid. I speak well enough to converse.
If it makes it easier, I can always switch when necessary. Just let me know. And my friend here also is like me, and we understand both languages pretty well. Unfortunately, my taller, strong, beautiful friend over here doesn't know either language, but common.
Right. I learned it when my sister and I went to school together.
Oh, yeah, yes, this is my brother. Yes.
Right.
We study together, as we do in those late nights when there's not much to do. Anyway, back to the subject at hand. It seemed like there was a heated debate or argument, and we're hoping we can help bring some peace to the said situation.
And the dwarves all kind of sit. One moment, please. And they all kind of turn around and get into a small huddle. And very gruffly are talking, like to the point where like you can hear outside the huddle. They are debating whether or not they want to even have a third party intervene in this matter, or if they should just like kill the goblins and continue to mine. And then the older one who's sitting by the fire, because they moved their huddle to be by the one who's by the fire. It wouldn't be wise to offend a war chief, especially when we don't have the help of more of our kin. And all the other ones. Good point. And, they turn around. The one who has been doing most of the talking, large, thick, black beard that's been knotted and tied a bunch, and you can see is most of the braids are intertwined with rings of golds and silvers and inlaid gems. Their hair is very, very patchy up top, to the point where it's like almost like a friar tuck. It's bald on the top of this ring of hair that goes around the side. Big, bushy eyebrows. We wouldn't be opposed to having you act as an intermediary.
All right.
What are we arguing over in the first place?
The goblinoids are kind of just like looking at you guys for some sort of clarification. I'm not. What's an intermediary?
Oh,
We can be a neutral third party who can help decide who's right.
Oh, and then in Goblin they say an in between. We are okay with that as well.
I ask because I might be able to appraise whatever's being negotiated.
he's very good at that. He's very knowledgeable in all sorts of things, honestly.
Both groups point into the cave where, from the firelight and the little bit of the sun that's left, you can see it's no more than maybe about a 5 foot deep entrance, but it's about 15 to 20 feet wide. And you can see as you walk in, Art, go ahead and give me an investigation check.
You got it. Let's go with my lucky goblin dice. Lucky goblin dice, why did you fail me?
Oh no.
What am I rolling again? Investigate?
Investigate.
Don't forget you can add the 4.
Yeah, you get a D4, I believe.
Oh, excellent. That'll help. So that's going to be, let's see, 17.
A 17. As you walk in, ever so finely, you can see trace amounts of ore in the hillside. With your 17. Actually, go ahead and make me a nature check now.
All right. This time, goblin dice, you got me. I believe in you. Hey, it actually did. That's nature is going to be
And I still believe
22.
I still believe you get a D4 to that, but I don't think you really need it.
Well, it's either a 22 or a 23.
With a 23, you'd be able to identify this as adamant or adamantine. A metal that is pretty rare. It's the dwarves and those who use it and work with it have it in abundance. However, finding it out in the world is kind of a treasure and relatively rare to find.
Mm-hmm. And did we? I don't recall. Was that when we were overhearing the conversation from afar that the goblins laid claim to this, or did they say that to us in conversation?
It sounds like this was when you were before you approached. So it sounds like the dwarves are laying claim because they were the ones who physically mined the area. But the goblins seem to think that they have claim to it because it's within their territory.
Mm.
Okay, so one who found it
Mm-hmm.
by exploring, and the others that's technically their area.
It seems. Go ahead and give me a history check, Art,
Okay.
for goblin things.
Well, apparently I've been too far away from my people for too long. That's gonna. Do I still get the D4?
Yeah,
You'd get
it
a
still
D4
lasts for
still.
10 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. That'll bring that abysmal roll up to a 14.
I'm 14. With a 14, you'd remember and recall enough of your interactions with your people to know that they were very territorial. They didn't typically like others coming into their space without not necessarily paying homage, but at least entreating or having some sort of dealing with the main camp, right? Especially if it was for things like mining. And being so close to Finklantuk, that often led to a lot of conflicts. This seems very much like a similar situation. You would know and be able to identify that the goblins are serving probably under the bugbear or alongside the bugbear, but the true leader is the hobgoblin, who is the mid-sized, red tuft, lightly armored individual who has been speaking the almost entire time.
Got it. All right. Well, took a quick little look-see in there, and boy, that's adamantine. That's a pretty special find you got there. So here, I'm going to convene with my my sister for just one moment here, and I'm gonna hushedly talk to Finn for a second. Okay, so are you really good at being able to tell when people are lying or not?
I like to think that I'm a rather good judge of character and line and such.
Oh, thank goodness, because I'm terrible at that. I don't really understand how people interact. So maybe if I ask them some questions, we might be able to maybe ascertain more about this situation.
Oh, okay.
Question for the DM: have we long rested since our
Since yesterday,
chase?
yes, yes, you guys got a long rest. This is
Okay.
the next day. Yes.
Well, actually, I can cast a spell that will compel everybody to speak truthfully.
Oh, oh, that could be
Ooh, that's
good.
convenient.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good plan.
Yeah,
Yep.
that might actually be a better option here. So, and also if everyone knows that everyone's telling the truth, then maybe they might be more conducive to a agreement, perhaps.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Ex-
But wait, hold on.
Yeah.
But we have to prepare for the worst possible scenario, which means that one of the people or persons could be, ooh, have bad intentions, and then it could rile up the other group, and then they want to kill each other.
That could definitely happen. It's true. Honesty can sometimes be bad if people are a little too honest about their feelings about each other when they have bad feelings.
Yeah,
That being
my
said,
mom said some people can't handle the truth, or she
yeah,
heard
my
it from some performance one day that she
yeah,
saw.
my dad's had similar things to say. They told me before that sometimes it's best for the sake of kindness to not always be so blunt with the truth.
Mm.
but I do think that getting all the facts established
Mm-hmm.
is good, and it's not like it compels them to like. They don't have to say like all everything they're feeling. They just like when they say something, it'll be
Oh,
true.
okay.
All I know for a fact is that, well, my people tend to be very territorial, and well,
Mm.
they may lay claim to this land even if it isn't theirs. But I've also seen a very similar situation where I came from that this may be very similar to. So if we can get to the bottom of it, maybe we can
Mm.
find a peaceful resolution.
All right, okay.
Okay.
All
Do
right.
you want to pitch the magic?
Oh,
Vinara?
Oh, sure. Is there anybody in the in both groups, brother, that you feel that are kind of like representatives of the group as a whole?
I'm gonna describe to Finn the ones that you told me just a moment ago, DM. Which I believe you said was the Hobgoblin? Was the leader?
The hobgoblin. Yep. Who looks to have a slighter build. Lots of little like tufts, like almost like they don't really take any care of their facial hair. But it's just kind of poofed up all over to the sides. They do have their hair kind of slicked back and in a loose like bun at the top of their head. Wearing simpler leathers that form fit to their body. That would be the leader of the Goblinoid band. The leader of the dwarfs was that black bearded Friar Tuck looking top individual.
Oh,
I relay
okay.
that.
Okay. All right. Oh, by the way, and she's like, she turns around and she's like, by the way, walks up to both groups in the mid, kind of in the middle. It's very rude of us to try to intervene without you actually knowing who we are. So to make everyone feel comfortable, let's do a proper introduction of ourselves. My name is Fanara, and this is my brother. And then she's like,
I'm
points like this.
the parent help singer. I'm parent help singer.
You know, he just sometimes gets a little nervous around new people, so it's a little throat fuzzy, you know. It'll go away. And
Sorry,
then,
new groups always make it a little awkward for me.
I'm Orchid of Kabul. I am a paladin of the Wild Mother.
and I am a servant of Avandra. Not sure if you're familiar with her, but she's awesome. All right, so what we were thinking might be a good resolution to your current situation is having a representative from either group be willing to have the touch of the Wild Mother upon them to make sure that they are being truthful in their words and intentions, so that way we get everything out in the open and be able to talk it out and find a reasonable solution for all. How does that sound? And then I believe you, and then she points to the hobgoblin, and you, sir, you seem like you both are representatives of either of your groups. Do you mind stepping forward and volunteering for this particular? And then she looks back like Orchid to try to figure out what to call it.
Oh, negotiation.
Negotiation.
You're saying this all in common?
Yes.
Okay.
Especially because I pointed to the two that would understand and would be representatives.
The hobgoblin. You know what? Go ahead and roll persuasion check real quick. I'm gonna make you make rolls.
All right. Come on. Oh no. Yeah, that was a nat 1 for a 5.
I'd say because you had I mean, technically Art and Orchid are helping you, so I'll give you advantage.
Okay. If I get a 1 again, I swear.
If you roll 2 natural ones.
Wait, okay. Well, I mean, it's a 15. 15.
Okay.
It's a little better than a 1.
The dwarf looks at you and they call me Delg.
Delg?
Delg, yes.
Delg. Nice pleasure to meet you.
We've had some we've had some we understand the magic you're casting and we were okay with it.
Oh, excellent. How about yourself, sir? What's your name?
The hobgoblin turns
Or them. They. My mistake.
turns toward you and I go by Mefs.
Mefs?
Mefs. Mefs.
Mefs?
Is how you would spell it. Mefs. You are correct. They're non-binary. So they them. But they acknowledge your recognition of that. I excuse me. I don't really understand what this magic that you're going to be doing is, but I trust you.
Oh. It just, let's say...
I can explain. I'll be the one
yes,
casting
please.
it.
Please do.
So-
This makes it way easier.
What'll happen? You'll just feel the Wild Mother's presence in your mind. And you can try and resist, but I'd ask that you just let that happen. And then when you make a statement, as long as what you're saying is truthful, you'll be able to say it. If you try and say something that isn't truthful, then the Wild Mother will stop your tongue. And otherwise, it won't last that long. This will only last for like 10 minutes.
We can...
Do I need to translate?
That would... Yes, please.
And Finn goes into explaining it all in Goblin, so then that way they can understand the pieces that might have been broken.
You start to see, as you're explaining it, the nods and understanding. I can agree to that. Yes. Yes.
Excellent.
All right, then let's get started. And Orchid will just hold out her hands and do a little internal prayer, and then the magic, I think this is all happens like ephemerally, but Everybody within 15 feet of me has to make this check.
Okay. And if they can automatically, can they choose to fail the
They
saving
can
throw?
choose to fail.
Okay.
At least that's how I've always played it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say. Are you kidding? All right. You know that the old man who's sitting at the campfire is the only one who succeeded, because you know when somebody succeeds. So
Yes. Yeah.
the old man, but you would know that just by how they acted, the dwarves at least attempted to resist. Not Delg, but the other three.
Okay.
To be fair, Delg was the only one who said. So
Yeah.
what about Finn and Art? Are you guys accepting? I assume you're standing close enough.
Yeah, I don't think that I think that Finn, because of the fact that she's just like focused on like the other things that are happening right now, she's not even resisting anything.
I was Perrin Hope Singer.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the check for that?
You need a 13 charisma save.
Well, that's gonna come out to a 7, so I definitely fail.
Wait, but the D4, it doesn't help, huh?
No, you can't. 7 plus 4 is only.
It doesn't, yeah,
that
11.
was so close to a nat 20.
Oh, wait, but you also get my buff from so that would be plus 2 to your save. So if you roll the 4, then you can tie it.
So that was I rolled an 8 on the die, -1 modifier for a 7, plus 2 would make 9.
No! Does that mean that his thing went down?
No, it just means I can't lie.
That just means that you need to be
Okay.
quiet and not try and say his name.
Correct.
Oh no!
You can bend the truth. You can dodge. You can deceive while you're under the.
You can bend the truth. You just can't tell a flat out lie. Some things.
I just need to make sure that I'm the one asking the questions and not being questioned.
If I start just going blah, 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 then just assume whatever you're saying from my standpoint may potentially. Actually, I'm gonna give you guys some freedom. You guys should know if you're lying or not. So, if you are, it'll start off as you talking normally, and then it'll turn into you just jibber jabbering.
I mean, part of the spell is an affected creature is aware of the spell and can thus avoid answering questions to which it would normally respond with a lie.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll get a gut instinct of, oh, I can't say that.
Correct.
Right. Well, with that out of the way, perhaps we can start with you. How long have you claimed this region as your own?
Who are you referring to?
Hobgoblin?
Hobgoblin.
You're talking to Mephs. In Goblinoid, the response back is the Legion of the Pointy Peaks has claimed these hills for the last 5 turns. And you would know turns are very common terminology to meaning years. So 5 years essentially.
Oi, you've lived here quite some time. What's your favorite thing about this region? As a point of order, they did not fail on their save, right?
Meph chose to fail on the save.
Or, I'm sorry, they succeed. Yeah.
Yeah, Meph chose to fail. They did not succeed. Correct.
Not that I would know that, but just for meta's sake.
The southern mountains tend to erupt from time to time, but the wind always sweeps it away from us. So we always see the lights of the mountains without any of the after effect.
Well, that sounds quite beautiful. Don't you think?
Very much so.
I was
Did
just going
you
to ask something about something I didn't hear. Someone should ask about the scouting thing. I don't think Orchid knows about that.
scouting thing?
They were saying one of them had scouted that, like they'd scouted out that area.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that was
right.
the dwarves, I think.
No, well,
The goblins said that
they were the ones.
Yeah, to clarify,
Oh.
the dwarves said they were the ones to mine the area, like to do all the work to find the ore. The goblins were saying
okay.
they were scouting when they found the miners in their territory, thus starting this whole argument. And yeah,
I think there was a mention of you all going and kind of scouting this area. Do you often go around scouting these parts? And what led you to this particular zone?
we send bands out from time to time when the need, when we feel we need to ensure our borders. A little bit to the east, there's a wyvern that has been hunting in the peaks, and so we chose to send some of our kin to scout out, just in case.
Oh, we had to go up against that wyvern as well. It was quite the undertaking. Let me tell you that. I guess that makes sense.
Did
Go ahead,
you know?
Brian.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
No. Did you know, great leader Delg, that this legion of the Pointy Peaks owned this domain?
No, we didn't. We thought the lands here were uninhabited, and that is why we conducted some of our delving.
Is there territory near here? How far are you from your lands?
We our home is long gone, but we live in Mist now, about 3-4 days travel.
Oh, so you're a long way from home.
Yes and no. We move a little bit slower and we're mostly on foot, so we can't really deal with the terrain of the northern Malos to get to Mist, as well as you can with your horses.
Why did you come out this far?
We could have went to the north, to the mountains west of Misty Shift Lake, but decided instead to head to the Ash Vales in hope of finding untapped land, which we did.
Except that it's not, because it seems it may be under the jurisdiction of another.
Well, the land is untapped, yes. We did not anticipate it being under the guardianship of others.
Oh, let me ask, K, oh, K, oh, I'm sorry. What's your name again? It's I do better with faces than names.
I'm talking to the
And she
dwarf.
turns to the hobgoblin.
Mefs.
Mefs, not kicks. I don't know where I got that from. Anyway, my apologies. So, what normally is the procedure if someone like our friends over here were very interested in doing the mining and potentially taking some said elements from there.
That's a good question. I don't really, I'm not really sure.
Has it never happened before? Someone
We've
come up to your leaders and discuss possible trades and such?
we've traded before, yes, but we haven't really dealt with folks inhabiting a space under our protection.
Okay.
I
So
would
it's uncharted territory. Got it.
I would imagine we could come to some sort of arrangement, but they would have to come back to our war camp.
All right. And just so we're clear, would the visitors, Delg and his party, be safe from harm during said negotiations?
We offer hospitality to those who are fairly treating with us. Yes. If they decide to act in malicious ways toward us, then we will take the proper action.
I'm gonna look back towards Orchid. Does that sound truthful to you?
It does sound truthful. Delg, I'm sure this is not the first time dwarves have mined in other people's territories. What would standard tithing or payments or taxes be in other regions?
And you can tell like he's really trying to think. Mike and we haven't traded with outside folk in a while. Normally, if we had the numbers, we would just drive them away, create a secure fortress, and then do the mining ourselves, and then leave. In this instance, we are not equipped to do such. It would be in our best interest to negotiate. We could potentially give a tithing of 15% of the weight of the ore that we mine. That would be generous, considering we're doing all the work. If they were to provide a workforce under our guidance, we would potentially negotiate for more.
Would I have any prior knowledge based on either my history or on anything I may have studied on whether or not that is even remotely reasonable?
Make a history check. I'd say with advantage because you spent so much time with both cultures.
I mean, he at least believes it's generous because he can't lie.
Yeah, that is true.
He's at least like, yeah, he believes it's generous. He believes that's generally like he answered your question as truthfully as he could.
And do I still get the D4 on this or no?
I don't think that 10 minutes passed.
No, 10 minutes has not passed yet.
Great. So that's going to come out to a total of 24.
Nice.
You would know that so this is all with your perspective of Finklintug, because you don't have much outside experience. The dwarves of Finklintug didn't really like there weren't many mining operations for the dwarves in the steppes. Most of the dwarves brought the raw material with them, either from the dwarven holds of the north in the Tuscar Sierras, or you've heard on occasion that materials have originally came from another source, a nameless source. But none have any mining operations in the steppes. You would know when they did trade some of their more their rarer materials, they would do it with members within the community, the different crafting guilds. They did not interact with the goblinoids in the steppes at all, and at least in Finkland were generally untrusting of most of the other folks from other civilizations nearby that were coming in and out. That doesn't mean trade never happened, just that they were very secure in their own, what's the word? Technologies, I guess would be the best way to put it. Finkland is also a lot higher technologically based city or locale than many of the places that you've been in Ecriom thus far. Yeah.
So if I'm interpreting this correctly, it sounds like the fact that a offer is even being made in the first place is uncommon.
Correct. They're doing it, I'd say, with your history. Sorry, I'm like about to cough, but it's like on the verge. It's like when you gotta sneeze. They're doing it out of the necessity for survival, essentially, right? Like they're acknowledging it. Also, they've also acknowledged that they haven't done trade in that manner in a while. So this is something that they're open to it, but also it's a survival thing.
I mean, they did say that, like, under normal circumstances, they would just straight up conquer this area.
Yeah, and that's why I'm trying not to meta too hard, but just to make sure that I'm interpreting this correctly. When you say, and if this is overstepping, let me know. But when you say survival, are you talking about survival in this moment, or for like their culture in general?
No, just for them. There's 4 of them. There's a legion somewhere in the hills. If they decided to like kick the snot out of these 5 goblinoids, they would have more goblinoids at their heels. Yeah.
So saving their ass then. Got it.
Yeah, it's less of a like it's more of like a, hey, we want to mine this, so like I guess we'll make a deal, and it's more of a, hey, we want to mine this, let's make a deal, and less of a like, okay, like if we have to make a deal, it's like the end of the world. Like they're not making a big deal about it, essentially.
So, given your history with these mining strategies you've had in the past, where you would, how do I say this politely, lay siege to the lands that you would be mining from, would you be able to offer any sort of what's the word I'm looking for? I'm sorry. I don't speak in this tongue very often, but what is the word I'm looking for? I actually don't. Something that you exchange. I'm actually at the tip of my tongue. I lost for the word. Something you exchange.
Collateral.
Collateral. Thank you.
Oh,
Is there something you could offer as some sort of collateral to ensure that you're not going to go back on this negotiation?
and also too, since they already agreed to be peaceful during these negotiations, do you also to agree that you will not try to lay siege to their land and be aggressive?
He like looks around him, and like the 3 other dwarves the 3 other dwarves that are with him are dwarves. They're built, they're stocky, but like even the old guy is like an old guy. Like he's built like a dwarf. He's built for the mines, but he's not. Does not look like a capable fighter from where you guys stand. And Delk just kind of looks back at them, and I mean, there's only 4 of us. We would need a small host to even think about building any sort of fortifications. He turns to Mephs. You have my word that we will not lay claim to these lands outside of the dealings we have with this or here. And he motions to the cave.
Fanar will help
that was
translate.
It was all in Dwarvish. He also spoke all in Dwarvish when he was speaking to you. They've been speaking very, very like in their language for the purpose of this. So I imagine whole time you guys are just
Yeah.
back and forth.
All right. So, do we want to try to organize this meeting with the leader, Mephs? Do we want to? I don't know where your area is with your chief, but you know.
It's about a half day's travel. We can take Delg and his company there in the morning.
Well, sounds good to me. Does that feel like a good resolution for both of your parties?
Yes, yeah. I mean, we'll have to see when we get to their war camp, I guess. But yes.
Makes sense.
Go ahead and roll Fenara or Orchid one more persuasion check. And if actually all three of you give me a persuasion check, group persuasion.
Yay! Group.
It's a good thing. I am so good at persuasion.
14 for me.
21.
That's going to be a 15.
A 15, a 21, and
It makes sense that I'm the lowest because I can't speak either of their languge.
Yeah, you're just there with the good vibes, and that's all that matters.
See, I rolled really high. That's the problem.
But I'd say with your two translators, with your spell, you feel pretty confident that in the morning, this group will stay together at least until they get to the war camp. What happens there is beyond your control, but like that you feel like there's enough trust there, and that they are willing to cooperate to some degree. Yeah.
All right. I think we need to seal this deal with the traditional either arm hold or handshake or pinky swear, something along those lines. We don't have to include any blood in this type of situation, like no blood pack or anything. Let's just keep it friendly and just so that way both sides feel comfortable and that we're all in agreement.
Do I happen to know any traditional goblin or dwarf means of accord?
I would say, given how far removed you were from your original home, and then the fact that this is halfway across, actually on the completely other end of the continent, you probably wouldn't be very familiar with, like, regional stuff.
Sure. Fair enough.
Yeah. But you don't need that because Delg grabs like a small cup, like almost like a smaller coffee cup size, fills it up with some sort of like amber colored liquid, grabs the second one, fills it up, hands one to Mephs, and then kind of just cheers and takes it. Meph looks at it, sniffs it for a second, and downs it. And they both seem generally pleased with the after effect. Mephs has a little bit of like that like afterburn of drinking a harder liquor, but Delg, of course, being a dwarf, no connection whatsoever. If you want to communicate, we have enough food for everybody here. If you want to make camp here for the night, I don't know where your plans on going are, but you can stay here.
How much time has passed during this entire negotiation?
I'd say during the entirety of the negotiation, I'd say maybe about 20 minutes tops.
Okay.
Yeah.
How
about
long?
20 minutes.
An hour?
An hour, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I think we have to be on our way. We're heading toward. Although, do you happen to know where Minthbel is this time of year? This year?
Uh, Let me make a check for the dwarfs to see if they saw it on their journey. The older one speaks up. I think Minthbel should be. We heard it echoing through the forest. Stayed clear of it directly, but it's large enough that you can hear it from several miles away, even with all the foliage. You shouldn't be far from it once you enter the forest itself. Maybe a full day at the most, but I don't even think that. It was looping around the northwestern portion of the Ashvales.
That's great news.
You may be able to catch it before it swings back south.
much
Wonderful.
obliged.
Thank you kindly.
Thank you. Thank you for negotiating and coming in. My son, and he looks over at Delg. He was close. He was close.
Well, we're glad we were able to come up with a peaceful resolution.
Delg. Oh, and before you go, and he runs into the cave entrance, and you can hear, he's like, boys, the other three dwarves kind of rush in with him, and you can hear the heavy swinging of pickaxes at the stone, and they come out with a kind of football-sized chunk of ore. After probably about another, 10 minutes. And they pass it off to you. If you find the right smith, they should be able to make something around the size of a breastplate with this.
Wow.
Um,
Amazing.
yeah. Depending on...
Is this okay? And then she turns to the goblins on the other side to make sure that that's all right for the dwarves to be giving a gift from the cave when there's no negotiation.
Mevs looks at you. This isn't payment for the negotiations. Yes.
I believe it was like it was like that, like a grateful thank you gift.
Yes, that's acceptable.
Thank you very much.
Yes, this is all very generous of you. Thank you very much.
And you store it in your pack. You get out of there because Art's got a spell that's going to wear off in about a half hour.
Yes.
Or, well, actually, yeah, in about a half hour.
I will say, Fanara on the way, like as they're leaving, can Fanara do sending? Because
Sure.
this negotiation just brought to mind something she forgot to check on for a while now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go for it.
All right, let's see if this works. Sam? Cleo? I'm trying to check and see if everything's going well with the lime water. Let me know how things are going in White Harbor and where to get my percentage.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
You had to know it was coming.
I was waiting for it, but God, you had to... All right, first of all, you're talking into like a 12-year-old's head.
She's not thinking. She didn't tell. She said she'd be in touch.
Oh my God! Hang on. Let me do some rolls. I'm doing it live.
I really hope that was 25 words. Daniel's in the chat. He can tell me.
I'll give it to you. I don't care. How?
Under
Okay,
25
here's the question. Do you want the? Do you remember how much you invested in it? It wasn't.
I do.
Okay.
I invested. Let me make sure. I'm pretty sure I have it here. Give me a second. Looking at my notes. I invested 20 gold at 10%
Okay.
return in White Harbor.
20 gold, 10% return. Cool.
Yeah, that was really low. I could have.
Here's my question for you.
Yes.
I rolled 2 sets of a D100 right now.
Okay.
To because it's only been like maybe 2 weeks of them
Yeah,
selling.
that's fine. Yeah.
Now, what I will say is I rolled one of them, and I'll show you. I rolled one of them with like my ale dice, which are not Umbral Oculus. I rolled the second one with Umbral Oculus. Which set of which D100 do you want? I'll give you the option.
I'm gonna go with the ale because it looks like lemonade.
All right. Hello?
Mm-hmm.
Miss Venara? Why are you in my head? We've made about 46 gold since you've left. My mom says 10% of that is 4 point. I forgot, but and it cuts off.
And then the message
It
cuts
cuts off.
Yep.
I don't think I would have to do that again in order to respond, right? Or is it still connected?
Correct. You would have it's a one you send and they send back, and then it's over.
Okay, that's.
But the good news is you're about
yeah.
to get a long rest, so you could spend as many as you want.
Fantastic. Well, that's all she needs to just check on that. She'll worry about that later.
Somewhere there's a kid going, "Are you going to talk back to me? Am I just talking to myself?"
She'll go ahead and respond. That's fantastic. Keep up the good work and keep me posted. Actually, I'll be in touch. And that's the Sashi.
Wow. All right. Yeah, it's going to be 4 gold and a handful of silver. Do you want me to just put it like to the side, or do you?
Save it for now.
Oh,
I'll let you know when I come to collect.
okay. How do I know when to stop talking? Then I'm gonna imagine you're
And
not
she
gonna.
she used up all of her slots. That's it. That's it.
While this is
12-year-old kid, I love it.
while this is happening, Art's gonna pull out the butt half of the bronze statue that he gave the other half to Eden with, and he's gonna do a sending of his own, talking directly to the butt. If Perrin's with you, tell him I am now a master negotiator, and he should be so proud of me.
Oh.
Okay, Art. We got rid of the bad guys, taking a few days for Corvus to assume a new title. We'll tell Perrin you're better at talking than him. As I try my best to talk like fucking Eden, while also using
That was really good. That was really good.
That was actually not bad.
honestly, having Critical Role and Laura Bailey as like a precursor was like, okay, it's kind of Jester, but not Jester. I liked it. It's great. But yeah, that's the response back you get.
And Art's just gonna gleefully walk along with an extra pep in his step. Still looking like Perrin, by the way, until the half hour proceeds.
The half hour finishes. You find a place to camp for the night, and as night falls, that's where we're going to take a quick break. We will be back in probably about 10, 15 minutes. I know some of my East Coast friends had a longer work day and need to get some munchies, so I'm going to let them do that, and then we'll be back to it. So yeah, about 10 or 15 minutes. Do your things, and we'll see you soon. All right, now we're back.
Huh?
Us.
We're back. Hi, everybody. Perfect. So, as you made your way from your negotiations toward Minthibol, toward where Gwenyamalos and where you think Minthibol would be, you all take some rest as your day's travel and night have slowly come to an end. Nothing happens over the course of your evening. So good news there. And in the morning, your travel from where you currently reside to Gwenyamalos goes uninterrupted. Nothing befalls you. And you notice at certain points, Fenara, that you can see little, like, small figures dotting some of the higher hills and peaks, watching you, as if members of the Pointy Peaks are keeping track of what's going on. After a while, the closer and closer you grow to the forest, or get to the forest, the less and less you see these individuals on the peaks, until you reach the forest itself. These trees are massive. It's a combination of redwood forests and like the very, very thick, giant leaved, like tropical trees. But all of them stand, as you're looking up to them, dozens and dozens of feet tall. Some of them looking hundreds of feet tall above you. The way is fairly easy to traverse at your height, even on horseback. The main difficulty is, much like the redwood forests in California, making your way through the root system that wind and intertwine between all the different trees.
I didn't know these got this tall.
No, I never really seen anything quite like him. I thought I was the only one.
No, I
It's
mean,
really
I've seen
incredible.
trees. Huh? Oh, sorry. What?
Oh, I was just saying it is really incredible.
Fascinating. I've seen plenty of tall trees, but this is on a whole new level.
Well,
So, do we hear any loud?
Well, as you enter the forest, or as you enter Gwenyamalos, Orchid, go ahead and give me first a survival check.
All right. Ooh, that is a 15.
15. You begin to wind your way through the root system. The root systems of these trees, oftentimes ducking underneath them or riding underneath them rather than finding your way around them. The lowest of the branches of these trees, some of them growing more like saplings and adolescent trees, you can see maybe about 20-ish or so feet above your head. But the larger ones, the trunks themselves are the sizes of small buildings. They are, you're going through a city sprawl in some of your urban terms. Many of these stand taller than the walls of Finklintug themselves, which stand a couple 100 feet tall. As you are making your way through the root systems, Go ahead and everybody give me a perception check here as you try to listen for any sounds of movement or vibrations in the earth.
Art struggles to not fall off of his pony as he's so distracted by the tall trees.
18.
17.
17. You travel for what seems to be a couple hours. The light of the sun now kind of reaching closer and closer to the noon sky above your head. The light isn't like a thickly canopied forest. It does come in parts. So the light on the base of the forest here is makes it visible for you all. Finara, you focus in and you try to listen, but the noises are not overwhelming in the sense that you can't hear things, but more in the sense of there's a lot of new sounds, different birds you haven't heard calling. You can hear the chittering of different wildlife that, while you've probably experienced some of their cousins in the Isles, these seem a lot bigger. At one point, you see a squirrel the size of a small dog climb up one of the nearby trees.
Rodents of unusual size, you say?
Yes. Yes. Shut up. You have no idea that no, as a kid, that one scene traumatized. No, not even like freaked me out. I refused to watch that movie because of that one scene.
It's great though.
One stupid rat.
That's like my most
one stupid stuffed rat that was thrown from the outside. Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's my most rewatched movie of all time for me.
Yeah.
Yes. Orchid, vaguely. The trees where you grew up would have stood at this height. Maybe not fully at this height, but like maybe half the size. You
still very, very big, but
yeah,
not. But these are just.
They were livable.
Post-Redwood.
They were livable. These were like where you grew up. You lived within, lived within or around these trees rather than on the forest floors.
Makes sense.
I'm gonna make sure that I hold Dulcar a little closer to me.
Yeah. Squirrels are technically omnivores. But as you head in, Finara, mildly overwhelmed with the noise of the forest and just the immense wonder of it all around you. Orchid, you close your eyes while you're riding your horse, following your horse leading the way for you. You feel how old this forest is. You feel the interconnectedness of the roots. The path that you walked as a child and in your adolescence, while you are not truly as attuned to nature as your mentor was, you still have that innate connection to it. Not to nature itself, but to the aged nature. To the things that lived on this earth long before any humanoid did. And that's when you slowly start to feel it. Almost like a heartbeat, but slow. Boom. And it starts as like a soft vibration. And then another one. Boom. Maybe about a minute between each of these rhythms, almost like a drum beat. Go ahead and give me a either nature or survival, your choice. You might be muted.
That's an 8 survival.
It's an 8. You think you have an idea. You're sitting there meditating, and while the pattern is like almost emanating from underneath you, you think you sense it pulling you southward.
I think I know the way. And I think I like pick up my horse's pace as I feel like I'm getting pulled in the right direction.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead and make a survival check. One more. As you
15.
pick up the pace. Perfect. You begin picking up the pace, and as you move and follow the direction that your spirit, your heart is telling you to follow, this connection that you've heard about, right? This is your one of your first real experiences having such a deeply in tune oneness with nature. You follow it, ducking in and out of the roots of the trees, at one point riding up a series of roots to kind of, almost as a bridge, get across another grouping. Thanara, with your passive perception, you begin to hear it off in the distance. Not a rhythmic drum beat, but the cracking and the breaking of roots. As if something massive was stepping on a bunch of twigs.
Oh, that doesn't sound good. Can she look around and try to see if she sees anything?
Go ahead and give me a perception check. More in-depth perception check. Art, go ahead and give me a dexterity check when you have a minute to maintain your balance on your pony as your pony's trying to keep up with the other horses.
Let's get that here. That fell to the floor. All right, let's see. That is going to be... what am I doing? Dexterity saving throw?
Just a dexterity check.
Just a dexterity check. Okay.
Correct.
That'll be a 15.
15? Yeah, you're fine. Thanara, how'd you do?
18.
18. You can hear from up ahead, roughly in the direction that that Orchid is taking you, this steady and the splintering of hundreds of pieces of wood. And then about 20-30 seconds go by and you hear that as whatever just stepped is now lifting off of whatever it crunched and is moving. And then in front of you, you watch as an arrow whizzes by your face, maybe about 2 or 3 feet in front of you as you move.
Well,
I am Orchid from the Temple of Kabul. I come seeking the aid of Gwadia Malos and the Minfabel.
and we're friends. We're all friends here.
Make a persuasion check, Orchid.
That's the 14. I'll also like hold up my my holy symbol of the Wild Mother in hopes that this shows something. Yeah.
Okay. 14.
Mm-hmm.
From above you, into either side, You see what look to be leaves falling from the trees. They aren't leaves. These are people who, as they're falling, are opening up their arms and allowing the wind to essentially hold them aloft and just slowly drift down on either side of you. Now, the cool thing about this is that while they're doing this, they still have full functionality of whatever weapons they're holding. So while they do, you see one almost fully drawn with a longbow as they're descending, just trained on you. Another one's coming down with this gnarly looking, or not gnarly, but like crafted spear with this like leaf tip that kind of curls upward, just like not necessarily on their back, but like gliding down in one hand. You see a shield in the other. Two more from either side behind you, one with a longbow and two with two swords at their hip land. And the last falling in this almost orange color, like this fall orange, this bright orange falling from the center and landing in front of you, Orchid. You see a male elven looking figure. Their armor's made and painted from the bark of the trees nearby. One hand on what looks to be long sword on their hip, the other hand on a dagger that's on their other hip. Please, I'm sorry. We were very high up. Who are you and what business do you have in Minthable?
And then in Elvish, Orchid's going to dismount and then bow very deeply in front of them. My name is Orchid. I come from the jungle temples of Kabul. My people seek your aid. And then I bring out the box. I've traveled thousands of miles to deliver this to your people. I have found Minthfabel, haven't I?
You have. You found Minthfable, indeed. I've only heard of Kabul in passing. But if you bring news from afar, then we must at least offer you some sort of hospitality. Do you know in regards to who you are meant to give this gift to?
I was just directed to bring it to whoever your leader is.
And he looks at his shield, your shield, and sees the symbol of the Wild Mother upon it. Our lady is she only takes so many visitors. However, if you are seeking shelter within the temple of the Wild Mother, they may be the best place to start for answers. We can guide you into the city to ensure that you don't get onto the wrong foot.
That would be most deeply appreciated.
Follow along. We can catch up to the city itself rather quickly. It doesn't move too fast, and you won't need your horses where we're going.
Can we bring them anyway? I don't want to just abandon them.
You can try. You can try. We don't normally bring beasts of burden into the city. The irregular movements often make animals unreliable that we haven't properly trained within.
Ah, I see. Well, let's see how they fare. If they need to turn back, then we'll let them loose.
Okay. And he begins to escort you, along with the small host of woodland elves, toward the sound of this. What Fanara and Art, you're hearing is destruction. Orchid, the only thing that you're hearing in these moments is that continuous rhythm. You're not hearing the destruction of any of the root systems or any branches or trees nearby. As you draw closer and the noise becomes louder and louder, Fanara, you spot it first. What looks to be the tree or multiple trees moving. But as you come through and see this path, and by path it's more of a like valley within the trees themselves, as this massive what only can be described as a humanoid tree or a bipedal tree, walking, towering even above the great trees that surround you. Its legs easily 200 to 300 feet wide in spots. The sheer breadth of this thing's chest and arms, very similarly built in proportion. You're looking at a walking city as you see small homes dotting around the legs. Careful to avoid places like the knee or the ankle or the hip where most of the movement would take place. Where you get to the chest, you see a single tree emanating from where like the center of the chest would be, sprouting just above the chin. Giant flowers of purples and pinks and like the soft like yellows and greens dot across it. There you can see an alcove of sorts with steps beyond the tree itself. Because you guys would enter more from the front. But you're looking at a walking Etten, or not Etten, sorry, walking Ent city. A titan, a colossal, carrying the weight of thousands upon it.
I feel like Eden would have loved this. You know? Look at all those flowers.
Orchid's just staring with her mouth hanging open. I never expect to see something like that here.
You didn't know anything about this?
No, they really sent me pretty dang blind.
This, have
I
you ever seen
get why
trees
the
this-
horses are not going to want to come with us now, though. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Pulling out my sending butt. You would find this amazing. Did you know that trees could grow this tall? I wish I could describe to you how amazing this is. You would love it here.
What are you talking about? A tree that can walk? I mean, that are like Relcath? Perrin, put that down.
I hope that our horses will be all right. I don't know, maybe we should leave some food for them? if we have to leave them behind, but I just hope that it's enough. It seems like it could be dangerous out here.
Well, we did just come through grasslands, so they can get back that way then.
The elf who has been leading you turns. If you wish for your mounts to be brought back to the grasslands and let loose there, I can have, and he motions to a trio, or motions to 3 of his troop. They can release them for you if you wish.
Yes, please, somewhere safe.
It will be done.
Miss you.
I'll miss you, Winston.
Very good. All right. Here, let me get the bags.
Oh, wait, I can try to help. And then you see where Finn is trying to reach up to try to hold some of the heavy bags, knowing full well she is not.
No, let me get that one. Here, and then she like hands you a really light bag, and it's like, yeah, that's fine.
All right. Okay, all right. Yeah, that one's just like almost half my body size. You know.
No, I got it. It's good.
I'm gonna go ahead and desaddle the pony as well, and I'm gonna gently put my hand to like the side of its face and go, well, I know you can't really understand me, but thank you for everything. I hope you can at least feel the intent and the warmth that, well, thank you. And sorry for almost getting you eaten. And I'm gonna gently just press my forehead to its snout.
Make an animal handling check. See what's up.
Get head butted.
Well, I'm assuming that D4 is no longer there, right?
No, wait, can I do something where I because I see that he's doing that, where I just pat him on the back. I'm sure he understands. Guidance.
Yeah, 100%. Yes.
Is that a D4?
Yes, add a D4.
Great. So that's going to come out to a total of 14, thanks to that
Okay.
D4.
A 14.
Thank God.
Yeah.
As you are saying this to your pony, its tongue comes out, and like your head's really small, so I imagine it's like that, and it just comes around and like licks you across like the bottom portion of your face and cheek, before turning and kind of veering off, being led by 3 elves out back toward the way that you came from. The lead elf turns to the 3 of you. Now, you must wait until the foot is down. Once it is, hop on the flat of it, the what you would consider the top of the foot. Follow it along until you get to the base of where the top of the foot meets the base of the leg. There will be a archway that will lead you into the city.
It's only on the leg that's currently up, not the one that's...
We could try to run to the other leg that is down currently, but we would have to avoid getting stepped on by the leg that's now. And like, it's very mechanically slow. It's very robotic almost. Art, you would like notice very similarly, a lot of the constructs in Finklin Tug move very similarly, and the fact that it's like it picks up, it moves, it sets down, the whole process of picking a foot up, it moving forward as if it's taking a step forward and then going down, takes roughly a minute itself. And it's not,
according to my
and the span of it is maybe about 100 feet. It's not moving super far each time it moves, but it's moving at a gait that allows it to have a very controlled pace.
Yeah, according to my calculations, it's probably in our best interest to wait for that second step, which looks like it should be landing around there, and I'm going to point roughly around where I've calculated the trajectory. And after getting almost eaten today, I would like to not add getting squished to the list of experiences that we have today.
Agreed. That wouldn't. No, that's not pleasant at all.
All right. Do you wish for me to accompany you into the city, or?
Well, you did say that it might help us not get in trouble, I believe was this implication, so I'd appreciate that if it wouldn't take you away from your duties.
He thinks for a moment. No, you have fallen under my care in terms of being under my watch, so I guess I should probably cover myself as well as you. He nods to the two remaining of his troop, and they kind of dismiss themselves and go back into the forest to rejoin the rest. I am called Galandan, one of
Gallaudet.
the wardens here.
Oh, pleasure to meet you. I'm Fanara.
And like I said earlier, I'm Orchid.
We're good.
Oh, Art.
Alright. And he turns and quickly now, as the foot crunches down, you're waiting for that far one to move, or you want to go to the closest one?
Close, so
The
that
closest
we can
one.
avoid
All
getting
right.
squished.
As the foot comes down, you can see the other. So in reality, it's about 2 minutes for one foot to land, and the time it would take for it to land, and then it would like start to pull off and move to the next space. But you quickly move onto the top of the foot, following it where what look to be toes, but it's very much just like gnarls and knots at the end of this giant, like, thick piece of trunk, where you climb on, where it connects with another piece of trunk from the trees that are around you. There you follow the base of the foot across, and you can see that there are a number of others of these warden-like individuals, all dressed in these barks and leaves, very natural sorts of armor, of various colors. You only see maybe one or two others that have that similar orange coloration that Galandan does. Most of them are greens or yellows. There before you, an arch about 30 feet wide. A less of an arch and more of a gateway. A causeway into the rest of the city. Orchid, you look up one last time and you can see, coming from the chest of this creature, the tree once more. The one thing you don't notice, that, like, you've experienced creatures of similar kind, every ent that you have treated with has a face, has a head, has a neck. This one doesn't. The tree pushes up and out and covers roughly that space on the shoulders where a neck and head would sit. Now, not necessarily like where the sense that the tree is the neck and the head, but it pops out of the chest slightly enough and up and in front. But there is no head
So
on
it's
this creature.
There's no head.
There's no head.
Gallaudet,
Yes.
this isn't. Is this? Gosh, I don't know what to call it. Like a golem ent? Like is this powered by magic? Well, I mean, obviously some kind, but
It is a creation concocted by multiple individuals, yes. It is living and breathing as all nature is. But its will and its movement is controlled from within by the High Queen.
that's some impressive works of magic.
I'll say.
Definitely.
Can I ask another question? I noticed that your clothes are different. Like, is there color coding? Does it mean you're like a captain or something?
We do not use formal military rank. Um, more so experience. I've been a warden my whole life in the lifetime before that.
What? Sorry, I don't mean to be rude.
In my previous lifetime, I was a member of the Wardens. And in this life, I chose to follow that path of my former self.
When you say
Finara,
former life, is that like a metaphor?
Finara, go ahead and roll a history check.
Okay. Yeah, because I was like, wait, hold on here. Oh, oh,
I-
oh, oh, oh. 18. Why am I hitting 18 constantly? This is weird. It's like 1, 18.
18. This isn't true for many of the offshoot sub races of elf. But in the histories and lores that you've read, you learned that the 3 prime elven people, the high elves, the wood elves, and the drow, they all possess an innate, one may call it spirituality, one may call it reincarnation. When one of the 3 prime or first elves pass, they're reborn in a way. Not fully, right? They're born anew as any child is born. As they grow up, they begin to remember things about their past lives. Not necessarily who they were, but some of their chosen callings. Some of the things that made them unique compared to other people. Some elves choose to embrace this, making it a repeating cycle of them becoming close to the same person time and time again. Others choose to shy away from this. What this also means is that there are aspects or instances where the death of an individual can bring about the life of another, meaning a child or a mother or a friend can be born as new family, can be born as not necessarily lovers, but you understand what I'm saying. They still maintain their new identity as an individual, but with that strand of their old self. So there are it's not necessarily like inbreeding, but it's like close to the line of like, well, like I was married to you in my past life, but like now you're like my friend. Like there, but I remember who you are, and I remember all the
Connections,
I remember
yeah.
all my connections, right? So you have a lot of people who understand and know each other very intimately. Once those memories start to come back, your father never experienced them being a sea elf. Sea elves do not have that trait within them. You've never experienced that because you're only part sea elf. But it's this like reincarnation and repetition. Some choose to embrace it. Others choose to just push it to the back of their mind, and they fade. It fades as many memories fade. Galadan, from your knowledge, has chosen to continue his life in the next life.
Oh, I understand. At least, I read up on it. My daddy is definitely not the same type of elf as you and your family are, but I am familiar with the idea of leaving this plane of existence, but coming back, and there still being threads that tie you to your past life, but yet your future life. It's very complicated, Orchid, but there's particular elves that have this ability, or they allow themselves to remember
Yes.
these aspects of themselves.
Uh, cool. Very, very interesting. Orchid nods, pretending that she understands what's going on. She does
And
not.
I'll tell you more later.
and all elves possess essentially immortality. They possess the very Tolkien-esque immortality, where they either live forever and they eventually perish of insert thing that makes them sad. But Galandan, or natural causes if they die in battle. But Galandan looks at you all and, yes, I chose to follow my former self. I was, and he points toward one of the yellow cloaked individuals. I was one that would be considered a captain in a past life. There are not many that wear this shade of red.
Well, we really appreciate your hospitality.
Yes, thank you very much.
The hospitality of Minthfabul is not mine to willingly give, but Our Lady Queen's.
Understood.
May I ask something?
You may.
How many lives have you lived?
That I know of, only the last and this.
Do you carry any regrets from the last life?
No.
That sounds nice. Well, shall we try to catch our foot before we lose it?
Yeah.
So we already in.
Yeah, you guys can, yes, right away. And he turns around and just proceeds to walk you into this archway. And as you step in, you are, for a moment, in pitch dark. As you follow this winding tunnel that ever so faintly, every once in a while, a beam of sunlight will come into to illuminate parts of the space.
Is he with us, or like is he still close to
he's
where I
leading-
can go to Art?
He's leading the group, yes. Like, I mean, he's within earshot, but he's moving at a slightly quicker pace than you guys are. Not in the sense that he's trying to rush you, but more in the sense of, like, he's walked these stairs hundreds of times, thousands of times even, and this is your first time while it's starting to lift off.
Okay.
So it has this, yeah.
I'm gonna pull Art kind of tug on his shirt a little bit to like kind of keep pace with me a little bit further behind.
Mm-hmm.
So remember when you were you look like my brother, and you asked me if I could tell certain things, and she tries to lower her voice as she says that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say I could tell. And then she just shakes her head like, not it's the opposite of what Orchid did to help the situation. He was saying the opposite, if that makes sense.
So you're saying that what he said wasn't true? I find it hard enough to fathom the regrets of one lifetime, let alone multiple.
You know, it kind of reminds me of Corvus a little bit. You know, he talked about the things that he experienced and coming back to life and such. Maybe he has some regrets that we don't know about too.
Perhaps. But I'm not very good at reading people, but maybe Corvus might be a little bit happier ever since we came around.
I'd like to think so. I mean, he was a tough cookie for a while, but underneath all that hard exterior of muscles and armor and such, I think that there's a tender heart inside.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I used to think that Corvus was, well, kind of scary and intimidating, but they seem nice when you really get to know them.
I think it's the eyes. I had a feeling, you know, if you really look deep into his eyes, he has really nice eyes.
They really are.
Oh man, these are a lot of stairs with a lot of heavy equipment.
Oh no, oh
Just
no.
as Orchid starts falling and lags back to where you are.
Well, I mean, I can try to. Oh God!
Oh no!
No, I'm fine. Okay, God.
Wait, here you go. Okay, all right. I believe in you. And then she's like patting on the back, trying to like cast guidance. So you feel the little like the breeze, the fresh ocean breeze hitting you.
That's great. That feels
You
great.
got this. You got this.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
You were stairs. Where's our?
We should
where's
work
our-
out more, Art.
You-
Maybe we should start working out. Oh no.
I don't think I'm ever going to be able to meet that level of muscles, though. But I mean, I could certainly try.
After about 10 minutes of walking up like around, and you could tell like you're walking on the inside of some of the lake, but after about 10 minutes of winding around it, the passageway comes out, and this passageway, mind you, like I said, is probably about 20 feet wide. It's more of like a roadway as it winds around the inside of this lake. Eventually coming out, you see the sun coming up from around the bend, and as you do, this passageway curls up, and you can see as you're looking up, the leg is still moving. It's risen and fallen a couple times at this point, but it is now up, and you're moving around underneath the knee and around the front of the knee to the top of the thigh.
Even imagine how
Around-
we
Magic that
perish.
went into this.
around you, you can start to see built into the wood and mostly on the inside, doorways that look to be for homes. You see windows. You see small like portions where like the wood is pushed or like angled outward, so that way small smokestacks can start to come out as people are cooking or have small hearths within the home. You make your way around these more residential streets until you get to about the hip. In the hip, you come out around the flat of the front of the thigh where the hip connects with like the stomach. And the inside is almost like a concaved crater on the inside, full of homes and buildings, a central market, all 400 or 500 feet across. And as you stare in wonder, the tree hanging loosely jutted out from the top of the chest, 200 feet above your head. Every once in a while, the gentle, slow, like falling of like a mix of like pollen and leaves and the occasional flower. That's where we're going to end tonight's session. We'll let you we'll let you explore next time and do all your orchid things when we join together in 2 weeks. Thank you all for joining.
Woo woo!
Oh
Yay!
my gosh, Eddie, I just read that stuff.
I'm sorry. As you started describing that area, that's where my mind went.
Listen.
live on the deck.
You ain't wrong. I hate you.
That's a nice deck.
I hate you. But we're gonna quickly go around the horn and let all my wonderful friends introduce.
Well, it is where
reintroduce.
seeds are produced, right?
Bye, guys.
There's no outro today. You got a hard stop there.
Yep.
No.
What's up?
Fanara,
No,
talk
wait.
about...
That was just the butt of all jokes right there.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
Fanara, Utahime, talk about you, please, so I can go cry for a minute.
Well, I'm Utahime, and I play everyone's favorite seafling, Peace to Maid cleric, Fanara Valar. Yes, I'm trying to like not think about how things
Skeleton?
function.
Groin.
Anyway, hello. You can follow me on the social medias, where I'm not so silly. I mean, sometimes. Actually, no, probably most of the time. Utahime, Utahime, Utahime cosplay, pretty much everywhere except on Twitter, where you can find me at Brianna DeCoster. Again, I am the community manager over at the Initiative Order, and I'm up to lots of tabletop things on a weekly basis. So if you want to catch me, you can catch me tomorrow on Open Circuit Studios for Leverage Los Angeles, where I play their resident thief hacker, Locke, and she gets up to lots of shenanigans. So if you want to check that out, 5 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow. Otherwise, stay tuned. There'll be more things coming. And yeah, I'm going to pass it along to my very buff, strong, very, very gorgeous Orchid.
All right, I'm Lizzie Donahue. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at the LizzieLD. You can see me in chat as pie_heart, and you can find me back here on April 25th for our next session on the Cinnabon Trail, where finally I might get answers.
Yeah.
Maybe? Quest resolution or not, perhaps. Who can say? The DM, but he won't. Let's well, I look forward to seeing you all next time. Till then, talk to Eddie.
Eddie,
Your mic cut out?
your mic cut out.
What happened?
It did, because for some reason my mic likes to automatically mute itself sometimes. Isn't that fun? Hi everyone, I'm Eddie, upholding my civic duty as a full-time troublemaker. Otherwise, you can normally find me across the socials on the web as Discount Bard, a humble vaudevillian vagabond spreading chaos and shenanigans wherever I go. When I'm not causing trouble here on this stream as our lovely little Butterball art, you can normally find me on my own Twitch channel at twitch.tv/discountbard. I do variety content there. My hyperfixations change all the time. Currently we're going through God of War. Who knows what I'll be doing next week? Time can tell. In the meanwhile, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Let's pass it along to our wonderful DM.
Thank you, Eddie. And I'm your Dungeon Master and Innkeeper, Logan. I'm here, and that's pretty much the only place I am. This week we have one more stream that we're going to be starting up kind of on a regular basis with Ronan, Taryn, and I as we begin to unfold some of the future plans for the Red Hair Inn. That's all I'm going to say. Tune in on Thursday at 7 p.m. because Ronan's an old fucking man who has a bedtime earlier than 10 now.
At 7 p.m. Eastern, everyone.
Eastern, yes. Sorry, I speak in Eastern because, yes. Thank you, Eddie,
Oh,
for
Johnny
translating.
likes to say American.
In American time, yes. Listen, our nation's capital is here. It's American time. Anyway, yeah, 7 p.m. Eastern on Thursday night, we will be unveiling something that we're looking at that will kind of be the future of Red Hair and stuffs. Yeah. And then Friday, DSLU games. We'll have our community games, the Dungeoneering, Slaying, and Looters Union. Those are starting back up after a couple months off, where you can create a character and live and play in the breathing world of Ecriom. Corvus has taken out a contract this month as he is trying to get a handle of some things in Deepwell. And some other fun stuff that's going on in the world of Ecriom as our players are journeying through it around the same timetable. But yeah, I don't know. I'm like fading. Sorry. Other than that, 2 weeks from now, I legit like hard zoned out, like fell asleep for 2 seconds, and I was like, "What? Where am I?"
How to wake up?
2 weeks. 2 weeks. 25th is our next session of the Ecriom expedition. So tune in for that. And other than that, thank you to my wonderful players, and we're gonna actually go raid the initiative order. So hang out for a couple minutes. Go in.
Say the Cinnabon sent you.
Yes, say the Cinnabon sent you. What's our saying? What's our new saying?
Get lost in the muscle sauce.
Lost in the muscle sauce. I will not forget it. I love it. It's so great. But yeah, go tell them hi. Go buy them around on the Red Hair Inn. Stay safe, my friends, and remember, adventure awaits. Bye, all.
Bye.